I'm Nick Filardi.
I'm Jason Thielbar.
Welcome to the world's second finest podcast. Today, we're talking Batbooks that came out April 1996. This show is on YouTube, but eventually, because, Jason, I'm so goddamn behind on YouTube. I just uploaded something. I think that the way that I dig myself out is that I just put covers and I don't put interior art for stuff and just like get the pods up because I've slowly started to like put myself into a deficit. And I'm very busy. Okay. Look, man, quit coming down on me. Fuck.
Someone's gotta keep you in line in this concern that you suggested to me.
And as always, you can get any of these books or any other book that we talk about, or maybe even a space heater on Amazon.com in the links below. I don't know if we're going to put a link for a space heater down there, but you should check. They say when you make a video or a content of any kind that it needs to have a call to action. And apparently this one is the call to action to the viewer is to check below to see if I've linked a space heater.
You know, I always forget about the phrase call to action and like I know what it means, but I'm like, man, if I was actually an improv comedian, I could have come up with something. I'm like, oh, there's a joke there, but I'm just not. I don't have any.
This is not our living. We are not professionals.
Yeah,
don't worry. Don't beat yourself up about it.
But you know that feeling, like it's right there. You're like,
sure, yeah. Look. Why don't we workshop it for 20 minutes and then we'll come back to the pod with a good joke?
Yeah, right. We can edit. Yeah, it'll just be a very obvious edit. Right?
Batman 530. It's written by Doug Munch with art by Kelly Jones and John Beatty on inks. Colors by Greg Wright, Steps by Android Images, Todd Klein on letters, edited by Denny O'Neill with Jordan B. Gorfunkel as assistant editor. It's The Dead Man Connection, Part 1. Sweet of the Sun, Tears of the Moon.
Sorry, I'll try not to interrupt too much.
Anytime you get Kelly Jones drawing Dead Man.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
Batman follows a couple of guys fencing stolen Incan statues of silver and gold to a pawn shop. Pawn shop owner is negotiating with the three people who stole the statues. And suddenly, Batman's just like there in the store being an absolute creep. He fights them. Get rid of the guns first, blah, blah, blah. The fight, however, is punctuated with panels of red, white, and black of one of the people who are fencing the stolen objects kind of losing their mind. Instead of attacking Batman, he pulls the gun on himself, puts it to his temple, and says, "Death to the defilers of Amaru," and pulls the trigger. In the alley behind the pawn shop, there are two people waiting for the fence deal to go down, and another man with a gun watching from behind a pile of trash. Dead Man sees this and possesses the trash man, hoping to prevent him from killing the other two people. During the possession, the trash man drops his gun, alerting the other two, who then shoot him. The two exchange Boston, you goofball. You really goofed this one up. The two exchange that the trash man has a map to the Incan gold. Dead Man repossesses the trash man in order to prevent the other twos from getting the map. They run in fear of the dead coming back to life. Police nab them in front of the building. Dead Man hangs around as a ghost long enough to pick up that Batman was there. Dead Man then repossesses the trash guy and heads to the hospital in hopes of saving him from the gunshot wound. They aren't able to save him. They declare him dead, and then Dead Man hops back in to walk around again, much to the terror of everyone involved at the hospital.
That was just so good. Yeah, why not? Like, what are you gonna do with a character called Dead Man?
Yeah, exactly.
Some hijinks, man.
Dead Man gets to the Batcave. He pitches to Batman that they're looking for the same people, and it involves ghost possession because people are missing time, and so Batman needs Dead Man. Meanwhile, a guy with a face scar named Mr. Killeen is killing and taking the treasure of all the Incas. And you know what? I think it's connected. Next issue, Dead Man Connection, Part 2, Cult of the Mummy. Jason, what did you think of Batman 530?
Oh, I drank this shit up. I drank it right fucking up with Boston having to and when he meets up with Batman after again popping into the corpse.
Yeah.
And having to like bring it outside of Batman's cave. And then, you know.
Yeah, he walks the corpse to the Batcave and then goes in as a spirit. He's like tries to pull himself together. It's not something that's easily done. He lacks the willpower in order to manifest himself without, possession. Yeah. So he manifests himself and he's like, Batman, can you open the fucking door so that I can let this corpse in?
Yes, I can actually talk to you.
I guess. It opens the door.
I also loved the when Batman was like, well, you look much like more you look much different from like the last time we met. And like, Deadman replies that like, oh well, I finally accepted that, like, yeah, I'm a ghost, like I'm dead, like I'm literally like dead, so I'm gonna like look like it. But in my head I'm like, well no, it should have said like, motherfucker, Kelly Jones is drawing me. Like, what do you think he's gonna draw me like? Like, come on.
His character before Kelly Jones and after Kelly Jones, they look totally different. Kelly Jones not only completely retooled the character design, but like he also just puts so much flavor in everything he draws that like it has stuck with Deadman. I feel like until now, like when I think of Deadman, I think of the Kelly Jones Deadman. And then when other people draw Deadman, it looks wrong to me. I'm like, this would be better if we got Kelly Jones in here.
Because they don't have quite the like skeletal, but still kind of flesh, but not
one of the things that I really like about Kelly Jones Deadman is that he's like really emaciated, and then Kelly Jones will draw like a rib cage that goes like all the way down, like past his hips. It's just, and it's all like splayed out and open in like a weird way where like, but he's wearing a costume and it's like he's vacuum sealed into this Deadman costume. So it's just like these weird ribs, like all the way down his body. And you're just like, it's disgusting to look at and it's fucking great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause it's a wonderful exaggeration, and it's like a thing that like, I think sometimes can be forgotten or just like, if you're a comic book artist, you're like, even if you're an established one, you're like, oh, I don't know how wild I want to get. I still, still want to finish these pages. So like, it's just a lot where it's just like, yeah, no, here's Deadman. Like I could just imagine like the first editor looking at like that version of Deadman being like, well, fuck, I guess this is Deadman now.
Yeah. I also really love how Kelly Jones draws Deadman not like being part of the corporeal world. Like instead he's like floating around and lounging and like half moving through things, and he's just like, he's never tied to the ground really at all. And it's just a really great way to like make him a ghost.
Oh yeah. Oh, completely. Yeah. The that's a great point. The atmosphere that you get from like, oh yeah, this guy's really like a ghost because he's just all like, no matter who he's talking to, he's all twisty or upside down, or because it makes sense, because it's like, yeah, why wouldn't he be? He's like ether, he's like vapor, he's not like
right exactly
sitting on anything, he doesn't cast a shadows, he can just have fun with it. You don't have to worry about the typical rules of like making something heavy.
I'm a little bit worried about how they're going to handle the whole Incan stuff in general. Like, because I suspect because it is 1996, it is not going to be handled with the utmost care. However, I'm down for Kelly Jones drawing Deadman. There's other people are getting possessed and it's tied to this gold. And I feel like that is a rich vein. It's just a very fun, like cursed gold stuff, like it just seems like it's going to be really, it feels like we got the beginning of this story, which we did. We got the beginning of the story, and it feels like I'm just 100% on board with wherever it's going to go.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I also loved, you just made me think, I also loved how Batman is like, he has such a like, he's trying to tell a ghost, I work alone. It's like, he is a ghost Batman. And then he slowly realizes like, wait, you're probably coming with anyway. He's like trying to think of like, shit, I don't really have anything that can take care of ghosts. God damn it. It's like, yeah, Batman, he's a ghost. Can't.
There's a great Phil Hester tweet where he was like, I'm going to butcher it, but
yeah, paraphrase.
He said, I don't understand how people write Dead Man and they don't just have him possessing like drug dealers and walking them into the ocean. Like, like he just possesses a billionaire and walks into the sea,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah, like,
well, and like that tweet always stuck with me. But in this issue, in particular, this issue, Dead Man goes on and on about like the sanctity of human life and how like now that he's dead and he's accepted being a ghost, that like he realizes how precious human life is no matter how you spend it. And that he is like very apprehensive of like possession because he doesn't want to take a minute from somebody,
Yeah. That was I think that was a really cool way of kind of getting around why doesn't Dead Man just walk into like whoever's body and just take care of him? It's like, well, you have to give like someone like some kind of conscience.
Yeah. And he's like, it feels like, I don't know where this story's going to go, but obviously we're going to fight some ghosts at some point, but it feels like if Dead Man were to fight somebody who's corporeal, he would try at every instance to like give them a choice to like get out of the path that they're on before they, screw up or whatever.
I just want to give an honest to God little special shout to Alex Ross, because I'm just remembering in Kingdom Come when Dead Man shows up, because it's like, somewhat far future DC universe.
Sure.
He goes even more Kelly Jones, and I think this is a homage to him, because when Dead Man shows up, he's just a skeleton. Like he has his costume, but he's just a skeleton. No more skin. Be like, you know what? Not even. I've been dead for this long.
Idea. Like I'm like all the humanity has fallen off the bone, basically.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh man, what a good I guess maybe it was Mark Waid's idea or both, or, I don't know, like
whatever. Yeah.
Mark Waid wrote, but I was just like, it just popped in my head of like, and as you like the enduring, like that's Kelly Jones's Dead Man. Cause no one's started like kind of degrading his flesh until he showed up, where he's like, well, the guy's name is Dead Man and he's a ghost. So like,
yeah.
he doesn't have to look like a beefy dude.
I love to like, so Azrael's a putz. Like, really just, you never end up, you want him to succeed, but he's going to fail kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like Boston brand Dead Man also like feels like he's constantly screwing up, but in a way where you feel like he's sincerely trying. Whereas like Azrael feels like he's been on the internet for 3 weeks and he thinks he knows everything, Yeah. Where you're Azrael, like, this guy's a disappointment. But with Boston, you're like, I'm really rooting for you, buddy. Like,
like Jean Paul Batman should like just stick to like behind a computer screen, and he'd probably have more fun that way too. He'd probably like his life a lot more.
He should be either behind the computer screen, or he should be just like airdropped into a hot zone. Those are his two functions. He is either fighting or he is arguing online somewhere.
Yeah. Shit, I think we just wrote the new Azrael reboot.
Yeah, right. DC, I got an Azrael pitch ready to go now. It's called My Life as a Dummy.
Maybe we can trick.
Man.
Maybe we can trick David Asia into drawing
it. If only. If only.
Yeah,
we could be so lucky. We're gonna. It would be. We would have to trick him. We would have to trick him.
I don't know if he's. I don't think he's easily tricked. I don't know. I don't know the man, but like, we'll hatch a plan off air. We'll hatch a plan.
Will David Aja fall for a bamboozle? Tune in next time.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
Jason, why don't you take us into Shadow of the Bat?
Shadow of the Bat.
By the way, coincidentally, this is halfway through the run of Shadow of the Bat. There is 100 issues total with annuals and everything, and this is Shadow of the Bat 50.
Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. Well, we have Shadow of the Bat number 50. Alan Grant is your writer with a bevy of artists with pencils by Brett Blevins, Norm Brayfogle, Vincent Giordano, Barry Kitson, and Dave Taylor, and with inks by Ray McCarthy and Rob Lee, colored by Pamela Rambeau, Android Images doing the color separations, Bill Oakley is doing the letters, Carl Critchlow, record scratch, wait a minute, that's not Brian Stilfreeze, it's Carl Critchlow is the cover painter this time, which I have mixed feelings about because it's a really good cover, but I'm kind of like, man, just have Mr. Stilfreeze do it, you know? Like,
I know. I'm a big fan of the Stilfreeze stuff. I'm open to putting different cover painters on there because we got 50 covers from Brian. So
yeah, maybe he was happy to have the break.
Maybe happy to paint something other than Batman.
Yeah. And Jordan B. Gorfunkel is the associate editor, and Dennis O'Neill is the big boy editor.
I do want to say too, this cover that Critchlow put together is really great. Just a really great, like kind of Simon Beasley-esque, like style, very gritty, you know.
Yeah. And super oily. Like there's that there's a great comp with the Simon Beasley because you really like can feel the oil painting of it. You can see like the sheen, you know.
Man, yeah, it feels like both of them are like oil painting in a sandbox almost because there's this like incredible gritty texture to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's great. Shadow of the Bat number 50. Batman, still exhausted and reeling from contagion and all of its ramifications, is swinging right into the middle of a robbery at a chemical plant. That's Gotham Chemical Plant. I'm sure you've heard of Gotham Chemical. Batman starts making quick work.
They should really beef up security around these chemical plants, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Just like rife. Like, what do they have? Saloon doors out front? Like, you're just in and out, you know? God. Well, Bat starts making quick work of the goons who are moving some barrels. And then he goes after this shadowy figure running away. For his troubles, he gets a face full of green gas. And as he rounds the corner, the figure is revealed to be Clayface? Batman instinctively throws Clayface into some barrels that explode. Shit, he didn't mean to do that. Now Ventriloquist and Scarface are here? Oh my god. Slapping the head off of Scarface, Batman then tangos with Galoots, Amygdala, and Rhino. Something isn't right. They get the better of Batman and drop him from the building. This is when he figures, I'm dreaming. And he goes, wake up, and he wakes up just before he hits the ground. And he's rounding the corner again, chasing the shadowy figure. And this time he sees the Tally Man. This skinny bitch is firing on full auto like it's a John Woo movie. And a flurry of batarangs take care of him. By the way, new John Woo movie coming out. Super pumped. Eat a sandwich. Is it
really?
Tally Man. Yeah. New American one. Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. But I just want the Tally Man to eat a sandwich. Like, come on, dude. Like, I'm very skinny myself, and like, just maybe have more success. But then right after he takes care of the Tally Man, the Corrosive Man bursts through the wall Kool-Aid Man style, wanting to get some burning done. And at the same time, some four-armed demon who I've never heard of is swinging an axe around, and the axe finds its way down to Batman's head just as he's thinking, this might also not be real. Rounding the corner again, he realizes now he's been drugged. all the bullets and axes were hallucinations. Around the corner is a bevy of bat villains, pretty much all the ones that came at him before, and some in the shadows. And now knowing that this is a dream, and he figures if his mind can create villains, it can also create, and then bam, a sick ass splash page of a platoon of bat related heroes just messing these bad guys up. The fight rages on as Batman wills it so to defeat all of the villains in his dream to wake up for real. And wake up he does to some hooded Cobra Commander looking motherfucker. And is he real or not? Bats isn't sure, but he's going to act like it is. Always ready. His name is Necrosis, and yes, he has drugged the heck out of Batman with ketamine and acetylcholine. Sounds like a club drug. Well, I mean, I know ketamine is, but
it does sound like a club drug.
But and also looking at the way this guy is dressed, I bet he can glow stick dance like a fucking champ. Just
oh yeah, you put Necrosis under a black light, he will light the fuck up.
Oh yeah, he will just go to town. And Batman struggles to his feet, ready to give whatever kind of fight he can, but he can't. He's too weak, and he's still too drugged and too much ketamine, which I suppose they didn't know as much about back in 1996, but it is a very heavy tranquilizer.
Yeah.
And now that he's prone, one of Necrosis's goons asks if he wants him to off Batman because, like, you busted his nose in the fight and everything. And no, in true villain fashion, he sprays him with more gas like a cop to a peaceful protester and decides to be on their way so he can start his revenge. What a book. What a kook. I'm sorry. What a kook. This freaking Necrosis character. Just, man. And Batman, laying in a puddle, zonked out on drugs. Will he ever wake up? Next issue, The Nightmare Man. What'd you think of Shadow number 50?
I really liked it. I wish that I knew which artist did which pages.
Yeah.
A lot of the art was different, but not necessarily different enough for me to be like, that's Norm Brayfogle,
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's two inkers on it, and the inkers are making things feel similar. And this one colorist over the whole thing, the colors are making it feel similar. And I just wish that it had a little more, I don't know, like artistic flair for each dream sequence.
Yeah. Like if you're going to do this special thing, like, hey, like they're supposed to be dreams. Let's make them look
right.
Make sure they're different. That's why you got these different artists to do.
Yeah. If you're going to hire different pencilers, also hire different inkers, also hire different colorists. Like, let's make it all feel different, Yeah. Like total different teams. But despite that, I was glad to get, a bunch of different artists like working on this. It was pretty neat issue. Not only that, but it's like, first of all, the Corrosive Man is fucking great.
Yeah.
He's corrosive to everything around him, including himself. He's in constant pain. So he bursts through the wall, Kool-Aid Man style, and he says, quote, "It hurts, Batman. Let me show you how it hurts." And it's just solid comics.
Oh, yeah. That's a totally great, like, kind of like probably call back to like whatever kind of horror comics they could get away with after the Code. Like that just also makes it such like an existential like fear. It makes him even like the censorship of like not making him to be able to be like whatever fucked up sort of EC monster man they could have made him without the Code. They were like,
right,
well, all right, I guess we're gonna have to go with this man who's in constant pain. It's just like, that sounds awful. That sounds absolutely awful.
Yes.
My God.
The other thing was that like giant double page spread of like all the villains that he's fighting and all the heroes fighting them as Batman like conjures up all these heroes to help him. I thought that was particularly interesting because we're like right on the cusp of the Bat family, and other than Robin, there is no Bat family here, but it is a packed page. Like So he's fighting alongside Anarchy, Joe Public, the one weird French guy that like helped him out when his spine was broken in Nightfall when he was like in Europe or whatever. I don't even know what that guy's name is. He appeared for like 2 issues years ago at this point when this came out. The human flea is in there. That guy
Yeah,
who
I
like
saw
owned the
that.
flea circus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else is in there? There's a Robin character. There's a girl that I don't know who she is. I assume like Joe Public and the Flea, some like one-off hero from like 4 or 5 years before this that we just didn't cover or something. So it's just like this absolute like, okay, let me just take a step back for a second. When you're an artist and you get to draw a double page spread of Batman fighting his rogues gallery with heroes together, like you know that double page spread is going to go for some cash to a collector. Like if you're selling pages, you're like, hell yeah, this thing is going to be worth a lot by the time I'm finished. I'm going to put a lot of work in, but it's all going to be worth it. And then no Bat Family. You're like, oh wait, I'm drawing Joe Public. Like who wants this? You know what I mean?
Maybe people in 1996.
People in 1996 might have wanted it. Yes, that's true. That's true.
Or they were hoping.
Yeah, there's no high demand for the Flea, is all I'm saying.
I think some of these characters like Joe Public and like the Flea and stuff that we've seen in the Bat books at this time, that they like very clearly were trying to make like, here's this brand new character, and it's such like Silver Age like hokiness that like I adore a lot of that. But to me, it also feels like there's like writers and editors at that time of a certain age being like, we're going to make this cool again. We're going to make this cool again. This is what superheroes are going to be like. And it's just like, they're no longer going to be dark. I hate all the dark stuff. The dark stuff is stupid. I want a man named Joe Public with a big shield on his chest, and he's going to be blonde and muscular, you know,
and he's going to have wraparound sunglasses that make him look like he just got his eyes dilated at the doctor.
Yeah, because that's what's cool. It's like, guys,
that's what's cool.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, man. Okay, no, you're trying. You're trying.
Man. So I on a pure comic book level, I really enjoyed that double page spread. And then as like thinking about the whole apparatus of like the person being excited to draw this double page spread and sell this double page spread, I also found it absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Do you think when the original was sold that because I'm not sure which artist did the original of the double page spread, but like, do you think like when they got like the final number of it, they were like, oh, a little more than I would have thought for all those guys. Cool.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was really, I was honestly I was surprised at like how quick it was, you know, like I was expecting, because like I was like, oh yeah, shit, that's right, it's number 50, so it's probably going to be some bigger issue. And like as I read it, and then when I was like writing the recap, I was like, oh well, man, that did go, because there's just like a lot of action. There's just so much like
right
fighting and action, wasn't a whole lot of talking, you know.
When I was putting together the Batman summary with Deadman in it, I was surprised. I was like writing the summary, and I was on page 9 of the comic book, and Deadman had already been like in and out of like 3 bodies already. And I was just, it was so wet, but it never felt like it was rushed. It never felt, you know, like it felt like it had all the time it needed. It was using all the time, and it was just a tight script. I didn't mention that before, but it was this, and it was the same thing with this, where I was reading it and I was like, oh, it's just tight. Like, you know, he fights this guy, then he fights this guy, then he's in a dream and he's slowly figuring it out, and then he figures out how to get out of the dream, you know, like with the help of his allies that he summons. And then I was like, oh shit, now it's over. I just like had a good time all the way through.
Yeah. Both part ones, you know, like good beginning.
Also, I thought it was kind of interesting because and I don't know if this is an effective form of treatment, but I know that people are treating depression and anxiety with ketamine these days.
Yeah.
And like I said, not a doctor. I'm not telling you to go out and get ketamine. Like, let me make that perfectly clear.
Yeah.
However, I thought it was funny that they're dosing Batman, and it would have been really fucking great if he woke up and he'd be like, I'm actually kind of okay with my parents' death now. Like,
Yeah.
I think I've turned a corner, and I think I'm just going to pack this up and just get married and try to live a life.
Yeah. Be like, shit, I'm a billionaire. Like, I can literally do whatever I want.
What am I doing?
Yeah. What am I doing?
What am I doing fighting necrosis?
I can't.
Like,
I can't believe I didn't make that connection, because that's freaking great. Like, actually, everything's good. Everything's good.
We should jump into detective unless you got anything else.
No, just one. I do just want to say it one more time. The cover painting was great. It's just that, like, at this point, after having read so many Shadow books with the Brian Stilfreeze doing the covers, I just kind of like started linking him like the way like it would be like if someone else other than Dave McKean did a Sandman cover, it'd just be like, no,
right,
exactly. Wait, no, it's like, I'm sure they would have done great, but it's like, no, this is where Dave McKean lives. This is his.
Yeah, you definitely feel Brian Stilfreeze's absence with his lack of covers.
Yeah,
but the cover is really great. I'm looking forward to more covers. I also just real quick, I just realized I didn't mention it. The logo changed to more of a blocky kind of like Batman 89 style like logo for Shadow of the Bat, and we're about to be hitting where like all the logos kind of change a little bit in the mainline Bat books, and these were the logos that I was picking up when I was picking up comic books. So we're edging into like, teen Nick Filardi, like starting his box at Sarge's and like putting Bat books on the pull list. So
oh man,
I'm stoked to get there, man.
I can't picture teen Nick Filardi without the green army jacket.
Yeah, I know. It's impossible. Inseparable. Should have burned that thing, Jason. Anyway, the point is, I also have one other thing is that I don't know if this was made before or after the episode in the Batman animated series. I don't know if you remember this episode. Shit. I'm like unprepared for this anecdote, but I'm gonna power through because it's podcasting and I don't have to be accurate. There's an episode where Batgirl gets gassed by the Scarecrow, and in her worst fears, she wakes up at the end of the episode like on a gurney in the Batcave. They were like, "We were worried about you. We're glad you fought it off. What did you see?" And what she saw in the whole episode is this nightmare of like Batgirl dies, right? And then it's revealed that she's Gordon's daughter. And then Gordon's like, Batman's been running roughshod for too long. And it's police versus Batman, which we've seen a million times before. But this time the police like have a severe upper hand. Like Batman is not prepared for it. He's grieving Batgirl. Nightwing's like, look, they like take the boat to like some remote cave just to lay low. And then like Nightwing's like, look, I'm gonna hit up my loft in Bloodhaven. I'm gonna be in and out just to get supplies. Like, don't worry about it. And Batman's like, fine, you can go. He gets picked up by the cops. They swarm over his apartment. Like, and it's like a total disaster until Gordon, in desperation to get Batman, takes Bane out of prison in order to like have him beat the tar out of Batman. It's such a good episode. Jason, it's my favorite episode of the entire animated series. It's so good. I wish I could remember the title offhand, but it there's this great moment where Bane like throws Batman into the wall, and then as the debris is crumbling around him, Batman grabs the debris in his cape and then like whacks Bane in the head with it, basically like a giant hammer. Oh man, it's so good. It's such a great episode, man.
Oh shit,
the Batman animated series is fucking excellent. And I love being able to be like, with Shadow of the Bat 50 and this episode, it's like, okay, we're in a dream state, so we can just do anything. Like we can just throw anything at him, which is super fun.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's a great there's just a great little sandbox you can do with it. You just made me think just real quick when you were describing Batman grabbing the rubble in his cape and then like smashing Bane in the face. I'm like, it would be so fucking cool just for like a day to hang out on a set of a movie with like the stunt and fight coordinators to watch them, like maybe it doesn't even have to be on a set, but just kind of build out
just
like
really interesting.
How are we going to do this? And and if the guy comes around like this, like one of my favorite is in John Wick 3, I think it is, where he kills a man with a horse because he's being chased through New York City, and he runs into like some stables and a guy is chasing him. And I'm like, wait, they're not going to kill a horse. Wait, no, is John Wick going to? And then like the guy's chasing him and he just like turns a horse around, slaps it in the ass, and the horse just kicks his head clean off. Like, like hell yes. Hell yes. Yeah, that would be so cool. There's just something so satisfying about it, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Man, that episode of Batman the Animated Series is real good. I gotta look up the name. Oh wait, I think it just came to me. Over the Edge.
Ooh.
Didn't look it up. That is the title.
Hey, there you go.
Got there.
Your brain wasn't going to let you do that. Your brain's like, no, we got this. We got this.
Detective Comics 697, written by Chuck Dixon, pencils by Graham Nolan, inks by Scott Hanna, colors by Gloria Vasquez, Seps by Android Images, letters by John Costanza, edits by Scott Peterson with associate edits from Darren Vincenzo. It's Deadbolt. Two-Face is being transferred to Arkham when everything goes awry because this transfer unit gets hit by another truck. So he's like, oh yeah, my boys come to spring me. But guess what? It's Lockup.
Oh, geez.
He's pulled out of there by Lockup. Batman thinks that there is someone new in town, cough, Lockup, cough. So he calls in Nightwing as reinforcements to Batman and Robin. Gordon confirms that half a dozen perps have disappeared. Stories of a masked man abducting hoods who got acquitted or early parole. Could be cop talk, could be real. Meanwhile, Lockup throws Two-Face into his makeshift jail. Everyone's locked up for life, including the weed killer guy who's still suffering from allergies. He's got some green guy in there that I think is Killer Moth. Killer Moth got juiced up during the Underworld tie-in and now is an actual giant killer moth instead of a man. Batman tracks down the... And I think it is him because Lockup's first appearance is Robin 24, which was right before Contagion.
Yeah.
And so he's brand new. He's a brand new character. And Robin is trying to fight Killer Moth, and he is losing, like with a capital L. And Lockup basically swoops in and like knocks out Killer Moth, and like assuming this is where he is now. He's colored slightly differently. So I was like, is that Killer Moth? Is that not? He's a little gray in the Robin comic and a little green in this comic. So I don't know. Probably Killer Moth.
Or the Monarch.
That Robin comics. Or the Monarch. That Robin comic is fucking buck wild, by the way. Like, it starts with him in like a cocoon on the wall being like, Batman? Can you hear me?
Give me a glass of water or something.
When you come by, can you bring a glass of water and a straw because I'm upside down?
Yeah, that'd be help. Thanks.
The Mickey Mouse straw would be great. Yeah. It's in the cave. Second drawer on the left.
It's next to the goofy one that you like so much.
Batman tracks the okay, so first appearance of Lockup. Lockup's locking everybody up. Batman track. He's doing what he's set out to do.
Yeah, it says it on the can. You know, it's 99 cents. It says it on the can.
Batman tracks down the False-Face gang, reasoning that if Lockup is going after Two-Face, then Black Mask benefits. Batman plans on hitting the False-Facers, that's Black Mask's gang, and getting one of them to flip on Black Mask. By exposing that person who flips into police custody, either lockup will come for them because he's working for Black Mask, or lockup will come because that's what he's doing. He's locking people up who kind of make deals.
Yeah.
So he figures win-win, either gets a line on Black Mask or he just tags lockup, no big deal. Batman manages to get the false facer to roll on Black Mask. It's a dude in the bunny mask. They watch the motel where the police have the bunny in protective custody. False facers make a move. Nightwing and Batman and Robin fight them. During the fight, Lockup makes his way to the room while the team is working on the false facers. Bullock tackles him, and Montoya pistol whips him and knocks his ass out. They get Lockup in cuffs. All's well that ends well, right? Except that Lockup reminds the cops that he has prisoners, and if they don't let him go, they'll starve to death, and those deaths are on the cops' hands. Jason, what'd you think of Detective Comics 697?
Actually, I really liked it. I really I didn't think that I honestly didn't think I would like the character of Lockup very much, but I really do, because it's like one of those, like, if you want an easy, like, scary villain, then just make them a true believer in, like, whatever.
Yeah, we've talked about this before on the pod with Anarchy, who feels like the opposite end of Lockup.
Yeah.
Like, Anarchy is an anarchist. Lockup is a fascist, basically.
Exactly.
And it's like they're both true believers, just on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah. Like, watch out for what the true believers, because they'll sacrifice anything to a cause,
Right.
Like, it's just a, like, and in that fashion, I was like, oh, now this is actually, like, interesting, because here's this, like, insane guy that they caught, and, like, he's not going to give up anything. So what are they going to do? And it's like, ooh, what are they going to do? It's like a great little cliffhanger. Like, I want to see how he's going to get out of it,
Yeah, I agree. I also, in general, have a soft spot for Lockup because of his role in No Man's Land when Gotham has the quake. We will get to that way down the road. We're going to get to that eventually. It'll happen eventually on this podcast. We won't get into it now, but Lockup is great in that. And so I was endeared to Lockup. I'm curious if that stuff holds up. In my mind, it's really smart.
Yeah.
But it could be another one of those situations where it's like, I remembered Bane reading the paper and, like, being very smart about getting Batman when really he's just watching, like, daytime TV for wine moms, and I've just completely tuned that out. So we'll see if it's smart or if it's dumb. I don't know. Either way, it'll be an enjoyable ride.
Yeah, that is always great, like, revisiting something you just, like, haven't in such a long time, and then you go, why did I ever think this was this good? Like, not like bad, I guess, but, like, why did I worship this shit? Oh my God. Like,
for full disclosure, I do still like Nightfall, Night's Quest, Night's End. However, I now accept its flaws.
Yeah,
now that we've reread it and reanalyzed it.
I still like I'll still reread comic books that I don't even like all that much. Like, I hold on to comic books I don't even like all that much and reread them. Like, they're just they're still, like, good stories. It's just like there's some like, comics, movies, music, whatever it is. It's just like you're like, oh yeah, I used to love. It's like, oh yeah, I used to be 18.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, I was 18 and I didn't understand how the world works and how to like make a character, quote unquote, smart. You know,
well, or to be a bit more charitable too. That, like, it's just that, like, you're literally a different person. Like, you're just literally a different person. So even if, like, you first encountered it at, like, 30 and then you read it, like, when you're 40 or 50, it's like it's gonna hit way different, and you're gonna be like, why did I? You might still like it a lot or love it still, but, like, you'll probably look at it in a way different way, So
yeah, I actually found Man, I'm talking about Gilmore Girls a lot on this podcast, and I'm so sorry, Jason, because I know you haven't watched Gilmore Girls, have you?
No, but I know that there was that Gilmore Guys podcast that was like wildly popular. So, let's get some of that shine. I say keep going.
Yeah. The thing about Gilmore Girls is it has multi-generational characters, and I found that now that I'm older, when I originally watched it, I was like maybe 20, and I was on Rory's side a lot. Now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, all these characters are making terrible choices. like all of this has gone awry. But I was like, maybe Lorelai's actually like in the right. And then as I got even older, I was like, oh, I'm on team therapy for all of these characters now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a drama, so it's fine. But
yeah,
it's funny how like changes in perspective like change how you think of everything.
Oh yeah,
as you get older.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I mean, honestly, it's great. It's like one of like the best parts about it is like, just sort
about
of like,
getting older.
Yeah. It's just discovering again and again how you become like a different person, but like you're not that. That's for smarter people.
One of the things, the example that springs to mind is High Fidelity.
Yeah.
Because I remember being 20 and being like, top 5 favorite albums. This guy's great. I love this dude. And then like getting a little older, having some real relationships with partners, and then like realizing like, oh, this guy's terrible. Like this is a cautionary tale. This is not, you're not supposed to idolize this guy.
Well, but the best part about that movie and book though is that he does learn by the end. Because like
he does.
Yeah, because there were like the shithead kids, and his like ex-girlfriend also like tells him what a baby he's been, and he's like,
right,
and he's like, oh, ooh, oh, wait a minute, yeah, he starts having all these like realizations. So like, but the thing that does stick around is the like, the like being like a jerk and like making lists and saying like so much about a thing and.
Right. And as a 20-year-old, I was like, this guy's cool. He knows about stuff.
Yeah.
And like as a 30, I think when I watched it last, I was 35-ish. I was like, oh, I never want to be around this person. Like,
yeah. You go like
the complete 180.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I'm totally there with you, dude. Totally there.
Okay. So we haven't talked about Batman in like 4 minutes, and I'm starting to break out into hives. Can we talk about Batman and Robin Adventures?
Yeah, you're breaking out in bat hives. That's impressive.
Bat hives.
Batman and Robin Adventures, issue 7. Ty Templeton is your writer. Rick Burkick is your artist. Linda Medley is your colorist. Tim Harkins is your letterer. Darren Vincenzo is your associate editor. And Scott Peterson is your big boy editor. We open in on ventriloquist Arnold singing a lullaby to Scarface. This puts our wooden boy right to sleep. And as soon as he's out, Arnold pulls out Sacco, another puppet, to have some jolly good fun. And while he's messing around with Sacco, we have our boy Riddler in the next cell over. While all of the soft singing was going on, he was building a bomb to bust out of the joint. And then, kaboom! And we have our title, His Master's Voice. This wakes up Scarface, as Riddler makes his way through the hole he just made, which I liked how he's casually, Oh, it comes out in here. Now that Scarface is up, he can see what Arnold is up to. He is having none of it. There's only going to be one focus for Arnold, and that's Scarface. Scarface thinks Dummy is going to replace him with Sacco. Scarface loses his shit and screams at Arnold that like, no, you're only devoted to me. And as punishment, he's going to murder one of Arnold's family. While Riddler is about to make a getaway with the new window he just made, jumping out of it with a parachute made of bed sheets, for all of his effort, what does Riddler get? He gets a face full of puppet, promptly knocked out. Riddler comes to with the Doctor, Batman, Robin, and Gordon all looking down on him. I'm sure there's some kind of joke in there. Batman does some quick detective work and strong arms Riddler into telling him what he knows.
Yeah, detective work, meaning lifting Riddler by his throat.
Yeah. And what he knows, if ventriloquist said anything before, he made like Andy Dufresne. And Riddler lets him know what he knows, which is that he's just going to murder someone in Arnold's family. That's it. That's all. He just said someone in Arnold's family. Well, what we know now, and that I didn't before this, is that Arnold's family is a big time crime family in Gotham.
Of course.
Families are weird, y'all. So
families are weird, but also, is there a family that's together in Gotham that is not in organized crime? It's either broken household or organized crime. Those are your two options as a family in Gotham.
I think they have like a law if there's like more than 2 kids, it has to be a crime family. It seems like.
Yeah.
Now that you're bringing it up. So the best Batmobile ever invented zooms its way to the main mansion of Arnold's family. When they arrive, the gate is open. Whoa. They move past some already knocked out goon/guards and rush into the house. Gunshots are already ringing out. This is some sort of gangster's paradise they've stumbled into. A beautiful goon is stalking about with a Tommy gun, runs into Batman and Robin, who are just trying to help, but he's a goon, so the first thing he does is spray them with some bullets. He don't want no help from them. Walking down the stairs, the goon gets yanked down by his tie by Batman, who's telling the Mook that he's here to help, and he's like, hey, listen, he's one of Arnold's cousins. He's not telling Batman anything. They solve their own problems, which, hey, good for you, good for taking responsibility for your life, but it's always okay to ask for help if you need it, I think, anyway.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah. As Bats is trying to get some info out of this goon to, save his goon-ass life, they get washed in a hail of bullets from Scarface. Arnold is so upset right now, but he can't stop Scarface once he gets going. The bullets continue to fly. The goon is hit. I repeat, the goon is hit. Just, got winged though, so it's all right. He'll be fine. Batman attempts to help him, but this idiot decides to elbow him in the jaw, at which point Batman's had enough and just knocks him the fuck out with a gas from a pill, and then ties a tourniquet on the leg that was shot. Which I've had enough.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time with this goon, and I kind of loved it.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Then him and Robin jump into action, going after Scarface/Arnold. Ventriloquist's other family are up and armed now, searching around the house for him, while him and Scarface continue to search for someone to kill to teach Dummy a lesson. After Scarface remembers that his mom is the only person he ever cared about, he starts heading to her room. And Arnold is getting more upset. He doesn't want his boss to hurt his mom, which, dick move, man. Don't hurt people's moms. They stalk into a dark room, gun at the ready. Batman and Robin are busy with the new goons they've ran into, and they're just trying to save these idiots, the frickin' dumbass criminals. And just as they finish mopping up the mooks, they hear gunshots from upstairs. Rushing up the stairs, Batman kicks the frickin' door in and finds ventriloquist Arnold on his knees with tears in his eyes and a smoking gun. He tells Batman that it's over, and he asks about his mom. She's dead. She was killed taking a bullet that was meant for his father. He was never supposed to join the life, and he made a promise to her that he wouldn't. He got upset with Scarface, grabbed the gun, and shot him in the head, which, being attached to his hand may not have been the wisest move. But, hey, give the dude a break. He's got some problems. It's all right. As Batman starts to drag him away to get him the medical attention he needs, he flips out, grasping for what's left of Scarface, cradling his remains in his hands as he says, "He's all I have left." Frickin' brutal, man. The end.
Every Scarface story is a real rough one.
Oh, yeah, because
it always ends on a downer. Always.
Yeah, because it's just so silly. Yeah, what did you think about?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. The one thing that I do want to say is that when Batman gets into the room and he's like, "Oh, my mother's dead," he doesn't mean that like Scarface shot her in that room.
Yeah.
She was long dead. You were saying she took a bullet for her husband in a gang war or shootout or whatever.
Yeah.
So he had a photo, and that was the only thing he had left of his mother, who he loved, and decided to not be in the life because of her. Like hugely important to him. And Scarface destroyed the photo. And so he's like, oh yeah, Scarface is all I got left now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Gut wrenching.
Yeah. Just
gut wrenching.
Yeah. And the big shadow that was cast as he's holding the smoking remains. It's like, oh man. Yeah. This brutal. Yeah. Every ventriloquist story, because it's like, it seems so goofy that here's this like quote unquote crazy guy who with a puppet who thinks he's a gangster and like, and the crazy guy never breaks and like he's always just the dummy and and then it's just like, no, has a serious problem. And
he has a serious problem.
And he doesn't want to do this, and it is destroying his life over and over again. Like, Jesus, Batman.
Yeah. Oof.
My God.
Yeah, really loved the goon like not taking Batman's help at any point, even when they're being sprayed by bullets. He's like, leave me the fuck alone. That was really fantastic.
Oh, I was gonna say, and just like the goons, like as like the drawings of them were just like great. Chef's kiss. Like I'm
top
like,
goons.
Yeah, like there's my beautiful goons. There's my beautiful goons.
Haven't had good goons in a while.
Yeah.
I also really loved, there's a couple of moments where the art was particularly great, where Batman and Robin hear gunshots upstairs and Batman rushes up the stairs and there's a giant silhouette of Batman cast on the wall as he's going up the stairs. It like created such drama and intensity for the scene. Like really great choice. And then who's coloring this? Pamela Rambeau?
No, Linda Medley. Yeah.
There's a full page of Batman and Robin just like trying to fight through these goons, and it's all in reds.
Yeah,
red, white, and orange. And it's like, it's one of those things like when you see it, you're like, oh, this didn't take her any time at all. But like she's thinking about it so much so that like it's just perfect. Like it works so well for the scene. It works so well for the story. It's like, it may have been simple to execute, but like you have to clock a certain amount of hours in the chair to even make this leap of logic for like, I'm going to do this with this scene,
Oh yeah. It's like film editing a lot, or like a good rhythm section.
Right.
Like I usually say like a good rhythm section in a band will be like one that you don't notice, but like you notice that the song is just good and like, meaty, and you're not like, if you don't, but if you kind of know and listen or look like a little, you're like, oh, it's that bass. Oh, that bass line. Holy shit. That bass line is holding everything up. Like,
there's the pro,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I will say one small gripe, and this is so small because have I talked to you about drawings of people kicking doors down before?
I can't
remember if I brought it up to this podcast. Okay. It never works well. It is so difficult to draw, Jason. And like, it sounds like I'm talking crazy. It sounds like, oh, just kick down the door. Like, but there's no way to make this drawing work. I have seen very, very few. A lot of people attempt it. I've seen very, very few good drawings of somebody kicking down a door. The drawing of Batman kicking down this door, he's like leaning back. The kick is going through the door, and then his other leg is on his tiptoe. It's very strange. And the only reason that I even noticed, because like really you look at the panel and there's such momentum in the story that like you barely spend any time in this panel where he's kicking down the door because you want to get to where he's going.
Yeah.
So you really just look at Batman, foot, door, and you're into the next panel. But I lingered. And the reason I lingered is because I've drawn this panel before, not this exact panel, but but like of somebody kicking in a door, and now I am hyper aware of like it is goofy every single time. It never looks cool. You think it's going to look cool. The writer thinks Batman kicks down the door. This is going to be cool.
Sounds cool.
Sounds cool. It's never cool. It never works in comics. And I think part of it is because you need a lot of motion for the door kicking and the exploding it. And even when you draw the door off the hinges, it's still standing there in static space. You know, it's just very, very hard to draw.
Yeah, I guess now that I think about it, like, because it's super hard to get the impact that you want of the phrase of like kicking a door in, or what you imagine like kicking a door, and you want that big oomph. But like when I think about it, of like some like scenes from comics that like where kicking in a door, quote unquote, kind of works, is that it's not ever, you don't ever see the person doing it. You might just see a door and then it gets blown off, you know, or like, you know, like forced like at you. So it's just the door. It's not the person in the pose, you know.
Or you see the wind up and then the door's off the hinges. You never see the actual kick. And that's the thing, is when someone draws the kick, it's always the goofiest fucking drawing you've ever seen.
This is such a great like bit of like comic book art minutia, you know.
Yeah, we are extremely in the weeds, but I just wanted to point it out because I saw a door get kicked in and I was like, it looks goofy. They made it goofy because you can't make it look good.
If you find one, you're gonna buy the original art of it.
If I find one of somebody kicking down the door and it doesn't look bad, I'm going to swipe that panel till I'm fucking dead, Jason.
It's over and over
unapologetically. And if Wizard Magazine comes after me, I am going to be like, look, here's the situation. Like, you don't understand.
You should just find us, if you find one and then you swipe it just in every panel, when you use it to swipe, you should just write somewhere, you know why I did this.
We all know why we're here.
Yeah. Come on. Let's all be honest with ourselves here.
But yeah, I loved the issue. The emotional beat at the end was very well executed. You really felt for the ventriloquist. All the art in it was really great. The lead up was really great. The Riddler getting knocked out by a puppet was fantastic. Just pitch perfect.
Yeah, I just love I always love a story like, and I think they do this quite a bit in like the Batman like adventure books, where you know, there's one villain that's introducing another villain, and that first villain is just he's only there for 2 pages and he's getting screwed somehow.
Yeah.
You know, which I just like, Riddler thinks he's getting out and he blew a hole in the wall, but nope. Sorry, buddy, this isn't your issue.
You want the stinger for the next issue?
Yeah, I do.
Poison Ivy's got a new partner, Robin, the Boy Wonder. And neither Harley Quinn nor Batman is very happy about it.
Oh.
This is all in Batman and Robin Adventures number 8. Harley and Ivy and Robin? ? Written by Paul Dini, Ty Templeton, with art by Rick Burchett.
Oh man,
so
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have high hopes for this issue. This issue actually too, because I've been collecting these issues, kind of commands a higher price point, and I think it might be like a minor key because it might be like Harley's 3rd appearance ever in comics or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't command like the insane price point of Harley's first appearance.
Yeah, or
but
like
it still is
like original.
Yeah,
like first
but it's still like kind of bumped a little higher than average for the rest of these books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get into it. I actually don't own that one physically. Looking for that one.
You're on the hunt. You're in the hunt.
Man, I wanted to go to the comic shop today and I didn't make it. I'm gonna go this week though. Anyway, Jason.
Nick.
We gotta get down to brass tacks. Best book of the month. What is it?
You know I love me some Kelly Jones, but it's gonna have to be Batman and Robin Adventures for me. I mean, I loved
I will burn this podcast down. Fuck that shit. It is Kelly Jones.
I love Kelly Jones, and I love Kelly Jones and Dead Man. I have, the Dead Man collection of Kelly Jones, but there's just something about ventriloquist stories that just like hit me every time. And I think the thing too that like I love about ventriloquist stories is that like, because he's never been the most popular, but also not the most hated, like you get just enough of it. It's not like, oh, here's the
that's a good point.
Because I think like the emotional impact of like we were just talking about would be like way less if he was like had as many like it appeared as much as like the Joker or something. Then it would just be like, oh, fine, yeah, all right, yeah, man, yeah, okay, I get it, yeah, you have a
yeah,
but I think like that just like I don't know, just did it. And I got some lovely goons too,
This issue feels like it was built for you, to be fair.
Yeah. And I do like, I don't know, like I love the sad ending too. Cause I love sad stuff, like I'm kind of half a goth kid, blame Lydia Dietz,
Yeah. I get it.
But yeah. It's
for me though, it's Kelly Jones all the way. It's Batman 530. I'm going to see when I hit that comic shop, I'm going to see if I can track down the Dead Man connection in physical, because these issues are great, and it's classic Kelly Jones. The other thing is, I think that opening panel, that opening splash where Batman is like camping the pawn shop where the fence is, where the guys are like fencing the stolen stuff. Like Kelly Jones just draws the hell out of like opening panels of Batman lurking around Gotham. And this one I think is maybe one of his best. And so I'm like, man, I love that Batman Adventures issue, the Batman and Robin Adventures, but I got to give it up. I got to give it up to Kelly Jones.
I just feel as though it's kind of like sometimes in like the NBA or NFL, there's this thing called MVP fatigue, where like there's usually like one or two guys you could probably give it to every single year, but like there are other guys that have great years too, and you're like, and so like they're just like, I'm not voting for you again, man. You just got it twice. Like it's time for someone else's turn. So I think there's part of that too, where it's just like I could, it's Kelly Jones drawing it, and and Alan Grant writing like a great like. It's I don't want to like not just mention everyone else on the creative team.
Doug Munch.
Doug Munch. I'm sorry, Doug Munch is on that. Yeah, but like everyone on the creative team, as well, who make that book. But it's just like I don't know. I think I could probably pick it every time if I really wanted to, and have a pretty easy argument. So I'm just like, the ventriloquist story, like you said, it like kind of hit me like. Just enough.
Yeah. I said, ventriloquist story felt like it was built for you.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to make a comment of like, I know that you were saying, we MVP Kelly Jones like every single time, but like we also in the history of this podcast have not really leaned into the mainstream Batman stuff that much. Like it's usually like the podcast started out as like a Batman Adventures podcast, and like we've gradually kind of given everything equal time. But rarely does Batman Adventures not eclipse everything else going on with Batman on the stand.
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like, and not even every Kelly Jones issue does. Like some will hit for me like pretty well and some won't. But like this one was just so like up and down. Kelly Jones's wheelhouse, interesting kind of setup. I just like I don't know, something about this one felt special.
Yeah, it did have a great spooky like, well, and like you said, it's Batman being a detective. It's all this like dark like spooky stuff. It's also like maybe some great. It's always funny because like Batman does get into a lot of like spooky and like occult things, but like he says he hates it and he's bad at it. And it's just like, This happens to you a lot, though, man. It seems like
you really got to start getting into magic, my dude.
Like just have an annual, like once a month, meet up with Dr. Fate. Like just buy him a dinner and just, you know,
pick his brain.
Just get some information. Yeah. Like you do better for it.
Yeah. Jason.
Nick.
Where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at King of Black Acid and at World's Second Finest. That's World's Second with the 2. We're back. We're back. I'm back on the.
We're back. Back on our bullshit.
We're back. Back on our bullshit. I couldn't. The song stuff is over. I had a fun run with that.
Yep.
It might pop back up if I have a good idea for it, but you can find us. You can find us there, and maybe if we can ever figure out Blue Sky or any other kind of like. Yeah,
once Blue Sky opens up to letting one email address have multiple accounts, I'll open one there.
Yeah, and they can find you on your Linktree.
Yeah, linktree.com/Nickfil.
Yeah,
and
up in that Discord that I honestly keep on meaning to hang out in, but
you should hang out in the Discord, man. I was just posting about 2000 AD having a big sale on stuff, and I'm like, gotta get me some Judge Dredd case files.
I gotta pop into that Discord. I'll pop.
You gotta pop into that Discord. Also, if you enjoy the show, tell a friend about the show. We're growing, but it's a slow growth in the beginning. So any help would be great.
Yeah. But hey, and you know what? Like we were just saying, I enjoy the show. Nick enjoys the show. So, some people will enjoy it.
Some devious idiots will enjoy this show too. Just like us.
Yeah. They're our kind of people.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.